Welcome to the Contrarians, and tonight we are going to have a Contrarian interview. I want to welcome Ryan Gavalier and Kai White to the show. Together they are the band Shadowplay, and we're going to talk about their new debut album that just came out. So without any further ado, let's get this started. Welcome to the Contrarians, and tonight we are kind of mixing it up tonight. Tonight we are live. We've got Ryan Gavalier here and Kai White. Everyone's seen Ryan Gavalier. He is a fellow Contrarian. We've been doing shows forever. In fact, Ryan, you've been on the Contrarians for a year, 2 years probably.
But 2 or 3, honestly, at this point. Yeah.
Well, so Ryan's back. We're going to have a little chat. He has a new musical project. A band with Kai called Shadowplay. They just put out a brand new CD, and we thought here on the Contrarians we'd give Ryan some love, and maybe we can turn some people onto this because it's new, it's a bit cutting edge, it sounds great, and it's fashionable. So anyway, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Nice to see you tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. So tell me about this project, because I mean, I've had Ryan on before. We've talked about his previous record, the EP that you put out, but now this is a fully blown album. How did you two start working together, or how did this project come about?
So basically, like as you mentioned, I had been putting out a few EPs, and I decided to start a record label, which is called Gavalier Productions. And the main reason I wanted to start that label was to give some other people an outlet to be creative, to have a place to speak, to have a place to just, express themselves, basically. And luckily, my best friend Kai is also an artist, really talented writer, actually, and has also been in some smaller bands in the past as well. So it's cool to meet someone who had some experience and such. And basically it just started off where Kai had some lyrics and I wanted to put some music to them. And it was actually just poems mostly to start. And then also we were just doing like some interesting kind of rehearsals that were like very much improv and such. So there's a lot of different outlets that helped us get to creating this album, which Kai, I'm sure you have some stuff you want to add before we get to the nitty-gritty of the album itself.
Yeah, I've this year I've been going through a lot of like significant life changes, and I've always been a big reader. I consider myself more of a writer than any other like type of creator, but I was researching Buddhism and like participating in this sangha, and another thing was I was taking like an ethnomusicology course, and it really exposed my whole, it exposed me to so many different genres of music, so many different sounds and tones, and, polyrhythmic drumming, and just like all these different, whole range of instruments and soundscapes that I had never heard before. So I really wanted to incorporate a lot of those elements and kind of like make them more accessible, expand people's understanding of what music can look like. And Ryan was very willing to work with me and experiment and do all kinds of awesome production stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Like this album took me out of my comfort zone. I mean, on my previous 2 EPs, I had started going into a lot more like experimental electronic sounds, while also still including some elements of like progressive rock and classic rock, a little bit of fusion, etc. But this album was a real departure for me because it became a much more experimental project. So involving a lot of sampling, but not sampling other type of are not other artists. That was something I kind of wanted to like try not to do unless there was something we really needed, and there actually ended up not being anything where we sampled outside of my own instruments and then Kai's vocals.
Yeah, we were just doing a lot of improv stuff for a while where I would kind of do like, I would practice these meditation chants, or I would do these different like vocal experimentations. And Ryan did a lot of chopping up and sampling and remixing and recontextualizing of these little sound bites and made something completely new out of it.
Yeah. And a lot of use of my synthesizers, bass guitar, a little bit of guitar. And then also I really facilitated my Emo Proteus orchestral keyboard and synthesizer, because there's a lot of interesting instruments like bells and flutes and such. I did use my digital saxophone for the saxophone parts. That was actually me playing and stuff, which was something I had never really put on a recording before. So that was an interesting experiment. So basically I had a lot of different equipment, had my drum machine, had different mixers than I had used before, a lot of new sampling techniques, a lot of different instruments at my access. So basically I think that's where the full album came from, basically just essentially going out of my comfort zone, expanding the ideas that I'd had in previous works with the help of Kai and with Kai's words as well. I think having Kai as a lyricist was something that really, really helped me express myself as a musician. So I didn't have those pressures of like, oh, I have to write lyrics, I have to speak about something. It was like I could speak through the music and about my interpretation of what Kai was saying.
So so it just sounded like when you guys got together, you didn't really intend to create a record, right?
No, not at all.
You guys just getting together, just kind of organically creating music and textures and everything. And it just kind of, did you just look at each other one day and go, you know what? We can't stop. Everything is going, everything's all coming together. Is that kind of how it moved along, or?
Yeah, I think it was when we had like our proof of concept with a few songs. Like I think Transmutation, which is the B side of the single Touchscreen, that was one of our first recordings that we made where I was like, oh shit, this is actually like really good. Like it's ambient, it's got some aggressive vocals, some unique stuff to it, and it's just very well orchestrated. So that was our first proof of concept. And then after that was the song Samsara, which is the 5th song on the album, I believe. And that one, once we started listening to the beats and such and hearing the vocal performance that Kai gave, I was like, oh, this is too good to not turn into something. And then from there, Touchscreen got made, and I was like, all right, we definitely have an album in the works. And so then I think that was where we switched from just screwing around to like really writing songs, really coming up with ideas, coming up with a theme, figuring out what this album meant to us. And that was largely Kai, because he was the words of this album. And essentially, I guess the voice of it too, like more than just the lyrics. I think his vocal performances really captured certain tones and moods that really influenced me as a musician. So yeah, that's basically how it happened. And do you have anything to add, Kai?
No, I think you captured it really well. Absolutely.
So how long did it take for you guys to lay down the tracks and get this prepared, mixing, the whole ball of wax? How long has this been in the process?
A couple months. We were just, for a while, maybe a month or so, we were just doing these really free sort of improv recording sessions. And I think, how long do you think it was before we had Touchscreen down?
I would say we got Touchscreen within probably about a month of when we started recording.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was probably another month and a half that we recorded, I would say. And then like kind of mixed stuff, got the CD together, got all the titles of the songs and such. I'd say it was about a 3-month process for the whole album, including when we started, which may sound short, but I've heard a lot of like really huge and really influential albums be recorded in days or weeks. Like a lot of those Black Sabbath albums were in like a couple weeks. Miles Davis Kind of Blues in like 4 days. So I definitely didn't want to drag it out too long, because I didn't want you to feel our progression too much. I really wanted it to hit a certain time capsule And then from there, we'll just progress as artists as we do each album. I didn't want it to be too jarring of a progression on the album, and I didn't want to show all of our tricks at once either.
And a big thing for me lyrically and conceptually is the sense of transition, the sense of balance and acceptance in the sort of forward, ever continuing forward momentum of life. And something that was important to us, like on this album, was to capture one slice of a life, one mood, one mode, because we're always changing, we're always hopefully growing and developing, but regardless, like time moves on, and we kind of wanted to capture like almost like a sound collage of that moment.
I get it. When I listen to the record, well, by the way, here is the CD, just to let everybody, it looks great. And the graphics on the CD are great, just matches the album cover. Wonderful stuff. So, I'd recommend, if you check it out, it's like on StreamYard, Bandcamp, Apple Music. It's everywhere you can download or check out music. But when I first heard it, the one artist that popped into my head immediately was Brian Eno.
Yep,
definitely.
What other I don't know if that was an influence or what, but what
absolutely
did you have when you were coming into this project? I mean, you both probably have different backgrounds and everything, but I'm just curious, was there any particular influence that really kind of gave you the momentum to push through?
Sure. I think for both of us, Brian Eno is just sort of in the DNA of how we see sound largely. Brian Eno is awesome. I didn't have Brian Eno in the forefront as I came into making this album, but he's definitely always in my bones to some extent. He's always a presence.
He was definitely in the forefront for me, especially No Pussyfooting with Robert Fripp and stuff. That was very fresh in my mind. Or not fresh, but it was definitely there as I was channeling, especially some of the instrumental songs like Modulations and Luminous. Brian Eno was definitely heavily in mind with that. But I know you had more that you wanted to mention.
Yeah, definitely a lot of the unique sounds and soundscapes I heard in my ethnomusicology course. Lots of different world music influences, Tibetan music, traditional Vietnamese music, but even just Western, modern, experimental electronic artists. Laurie Anderson as a performer, absolutely.
That's an excellent, yes, I hear that too.
Yeah, I'd say for me, a lot of my influences came more from Western or more popular music. I would say Pink Floyd was definitely on my mind a lot, especially with songs like Atavism and stuff, that synthesizer screech right at the beginning, that with the theremin, that was definitely very Rick Wright influence and stuff. I would say Rick Wright was definitely my main influence as I was doing my keyboard work on this album, and then even on my past couple EPs, Rick Wright, Rick Wakeman, those kind of guys.
Ricks.
Yeah, I love the Ricks. They know what they're doing. But
Wilson, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Wilson was definitely a huge influence from the Beach Boys, especially as I was getting instruments like bells and such into the mix. Vandergraaf Generator influenced me to put some saxophone, also a lot of jazz artists in that realm, like John Coltrane and such. Trip hop artists I was definitely listening to at the time, Massive Attack and stuff I was listening to around this point of time. I had Ministry a lot on my mind, Nine Inch Nails. Just all kinds of different influences. Black Sabbath, always on my mind, even though I barely played any guitar. Anytime I was trying to capture more of a more doomy type of sound, always thinking about Black Sabbath and stuff. And you'll definitely hear a lot more of that influence on the second Shadowplay album, I'll say.
That's a good segue.
Yeah.
Is there more in the pipeline for Shadowplay? What can we expect in the future?
Absolutely. We're both huge broad fans of music. We love, almost every genre, and there's lots of different sounds to have all things to offer. And right away, as soon as we decided that, this is a band, we have enough serious material that we want to go forward with this. For me, it was touchscreen when it really became real. But right away, we at that same time, when we sort of solidified as an identity, we decided that Shadowplay is an act of transmutation. It's a constant evolution, and we want to explore all sorts of different sounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I must say, it's very. The first thing when I heard it, what really grabbed me is how professional it's. Ryan's engineering ability is. Holy crap, Ryan! You're just moving right along, but it's very professional. Although it's very experimental, that's not bad. It takes you on a bit of a soundscape journey, I must say. Yeah. The more you listen to it, the more it kind of brings you into its world. Has a lot to offer. If you like a lot of different type of sounds and great production. It's experimental for sure. Would I say it's avant-garde? I might. But
there's definitely elements of
there are elements of avant-garde.
Yeah.
It's not clear out there. There is still elements that keeps it down to earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But go and check it out. Spotify, it's everywhere. It's on Amazon. Am I missing anything else?
The CDs are available on Bandcamp.
There you go.
Yeah, and today's actually Bandcamp Friday. So anybody that's watching, if you are interested, Bandcamp Friday is definitely the best day to support, either with digital downloads or CDs, because Bandcamp doesn't take any cut from it. So that's definitely a really good day for it. But it is on there as well. It's on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, YouTube, pretty much anywhere you could think of listening to music, it's at.
Yeah, and I just want to add that all those links are down below. So
thank you. And
I'm already there. If you're interested and want to check them out, they're all there. Oh, look. And I do want to shout out real quick. I want to shout out everybody for tuning in and in the chat. But John the Music Nut just showed up. Hello, everyone. Looking forward to picking this up from Bandcamp tonight. There you go. John the Music.
Good to hear from you again, John.
Yeah, see? John, you remember Ryan, John. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were just
texting a week David, ago. Look. David Bodas. Hey, welcome. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see David.
Excellent. Of course, Lewis is here. I see Lewis all the time. Yeah. Gary Joyce. Thanks, everybody, for popping in, though. It's nice showing these gentlemen some support. They're trying to get out there with their music and their art. And, if you can get out there and support them, that would be great. Because there's one thing, we do want to support new music on the Contrarians. We might talk a lot about old music, but, it's nice to give new music a fair shake. And Ryan has been such a part of this channel since the very beginning of the chats. I think Ryan and I first came on here, right? When the Contrarians opened up the chat rooms.
Yeah,
because we both started out together. You, me, Todd. Well, there's a whole group of us that was all started out together. But yeah, Ryan's been here, and it's nice to show Ryan some support on this record. So please check it out. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
Sure. Actually. So a couple things about Gavalier Productions, and I know Todd can have some stuff he wants to promote too. So that is my record label. And I actually just put up another release too. And it's someone that you all know very well. Ryan Kelly, actually, I helped put together an album for him, and it's called No Easy Access. And I wish I had a CD.
I was going to say, maybe I can find the graphic. I didn't even think about it, Ryan. I should have put that up. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're good. But I have CDs coming in the mail right now. I ordered 100 copies so far of that album. It's an awesome blast to the past. Like you said, this channel does talk a lot about older music. This album is almost like a archival piece. It is a lot of older recordings, but I kind of reinvigorated them with masters, etc. And Rand, he basically I've respected his music for a long time, and he's respected mine. So we decided to start working together. He had a lot of really good recordings that he wanted to get out there. And so I compiled 7 that I wanted together for this first album, mastered them and everything. And it'll be out on September 26th. And also the single No Easy Access will be on all major streaming platforms on September 5th. So definitely check that out and then look out for them.
Excellent. I'm going to pop up the graphic for Rand's CD just to throw it up so people know what, well, you know.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the album cover. So Kai, did you work on that too?
I did. Yeah. I did Behavioral Features Marketplace, and I did No Easy Access.
Nice.
Yeah. Kai's he's basically in charge now, the album covers for Gavalier Productions. And he's actually actively working on the album cover for my first solo album too, which is called Gavalier Productions Presents Night of the Living Dead. It's an unofficial soundtrack to my favorite horror film of all time. It'll be out on October 13th, which is a Friday the 13th, so extra spooky and shit, getting ready for Halloween. So Kai's been helping me out with the artwork for that. Kai's been doing fantastic with all this artwork. Did you have anything you wanted to say about that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's awesome to be able to make artwork like this. I love visual art. I'm a big movie fan. But yeah, and also like I want to plug my Instagram for sure. If you guys like this style of artwork, I do a lot of like outtakes and different collage type art and experimental glitch art on my Instagram. I think it's down in the links. And I do have a Twitter too, or X, I guess they call it. But all that stuff's down below.
X now. It's X.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you send me that link, Kai, unless Ryan gave it to me.
I think I put it in the pile of links.
Okay, because I put them all up there. So go below and check it out. If you don't see it, let me know and I can put it up there. But yeah, there you go. Some great stuff. You guys are just hitting it out of the park.
Yeah, I'm actually actively designing a website for the record label too. Okay. I am looking for other artists eventually too. So there's going to be places to contact me about that. There will be full pages for each artist too, with the interviews and reviews that the albums get and such. It's a work in progress right now, but it's coming out really well so far. I'd say I'll probably have that website up in public within the next week or two. So
nice. Excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also send me that link too once it's up.
Yeah, thank you.
There. So you've got Rand coming out on the label, the Shadowplay album, your solo record coming out. Anything else in the pipeline right now? Because I know literally this, you just started this label just recently, so we're in that infancy and you're trying to make it grow. But is there anything else in the pipeline right now? When are you guys going to start recording a new record?
We're already,
we got
already working on it.
We're playing with.
Yeah, we have 5 tracks in the works right now, ones that we've been recording and stuff. It's a very, very heavy guitar influenced album. Very, very, very heavy metal music. This one.
Oh my!
It's gonna have a lot of
different
elements to it too. Still some of the world music elements that
heavy, like throat singing, some black metal influences.
Or is there going to be any growling on here?
Definitely, tons of horrible ecstatic screaming, growling, singing, chanting,
synthesizers,
talking,
cool beats, heavy guitars. It's going to be a very different album with the Shadowplay spirit, though.
Gotcha. Excellent.
Definitely check out No Easy Access.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, it's an awesome. It's like almost like Lost Media. It's a beautiful rendition of this older sound that is made HD. It's like the remake of Shadow of the Colossus for PS4. Just a perfect way of bringing something out of an older time and making it as good sounding and accessible as you possibly could with a modern spin.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, I'm like so proud that I got to work with Rand on that album, and I know we're going to talk about it when it comes up too, so I won't go too far in depth.
Well, Rand's contacted me about talking about it, so
Yeah, it's a fantastic album. He did a great job with the original recordings, and I'm really proud of the production work. I feel like I learned a lot about mastering, especially, and how important it is for this album. I did master after master to get each of these tracks to sound exactly how I want them. It was a real trial and error, learning new tricks, learning new effects and such. But it was a very fun album. It's got elements of synth pop. It's got classic rock, some prog, some cool like reggae, police type stuff on it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm so excited for it to come out. It is available for pre-order on Bandcamp now. The digital, once I have the CDs and I could take some pictures, I'll put those up too for order as well. They're on the way. It said they'll be here around September 20th, but definitely check that out when it comes out. I'm extremely happy about it, and Rand's very happy too. It's just a really fun album.
what did you find working on? I know we're talking about Shadowplay, but I do have a quick question about Rand's record, since we're might as well promote that as well. Was it a challenge for you to get all these tracks? Because I know a lot of these tracks were recorded over many years ago. So I know when you're trying to put I don't know if you want to consider this a comp, but it's really you're assembling all these tracks from Rand. It must be kind of a challenge to make all these tracks kind of sound cohesive, like, you know, they're part of one work. You know what I mean? Because they're all, he's been recording these for years.
Yeah.
I mean, was it a challenge to produce this then?
It was really just knowing what songs fit together well.
Okay. Yeah.
I very much like captured a certain vibe on this one, and I'd like to capture different ones with him in the future because we have a lot we want to do together. But basically it was figuring out which songs. I don't consider it a compilation because I sequenced it with the flow of an album. It's meant to be a cohesive piece. It's definitely not a comp album. Maybe I want to do comps for my label in the future, like once there's more artists and such. I want to do that kind of stuff, but right now I'm really interested in albums and taking people on a journey. So that's very much what happened. And with the mastering, like I said, is where I brought the modern aspect of it in.
Right.
I was able to capture the sounds that I wanted by mastering and mixing it, whereas it had a different context at that point in time. Now it's very fresh, it's very lively, it's very professional, and it's really exciting. I'm so excited for people to hear it because it's truly a really, really cool album.
Yeah, cool. Well, you know, it's about time Rand got something out.
Yeah. So, no, I'm really happy for him, and I'm excited to do more with him. He's been a lot of fun to work with.
So I'm just curious real quick. I know you gentlemen are working on the next record. What's the goal? What's the goal to get that out?
Not sure yet, because I have a set date for Rand's album. I have a set date for Night of the Living Dead. We're still very much in the recording process with this, and it's evolving. So we'll kind of go with the flow. I would hope beginning of 2024. It might be sooner though. We'll see. We'll just go with the flow with it. Basically, we've just been very much in the ethic of when it feels right. When we feel like we have our album, then we'll get it out. But
right.
We don't want to rush.
You can't rush it. You just got to let it happen. You know?
Yeah.
You know, when it's ready, you'll know. Obviously, you know. All right, gentlemen. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to add? You could wrap this up.
Thank you for
having us
on.
Sure.
Thank you, John, the Music Nut.
Yeah.
Appreciate
John,
that.
The Music Nut.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for everybody who came on. Some familiar faces for sure, and some new ones. Definitely check it out and just share it around with friends too. I mean, really kind of like trying to shake things up a little bit with music and stuff, kind of trying to create some new genres, bring back some genres that I really appreciate too. I do want to like create a whole music revolution with this record label. So I need some help with getting people spread it around too. So please do. And if you are a musician, if you are looking to get your stuff released, definitely contact me. I mean, I have an open mind to a lot of different genres, and I love mixing and I love mastering and I love helping other artists out. This is like my thing. So if you're out there, if you want to do something, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to work something out with you.
There you go. All right, Ryan Gavalier, Kai White, Shadowplay. Hey, gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for coming on and talking about this record.
Thank you.
Please, everybody tuning in, check out the links below. See if you support these gentlemen. I mean, they're trying to get, we'd like to support new music. Please try to support these two gentlemen and, so they can continue on and make more music. So,
Bandcamp Friday.
What's that?
Bandcamp Friday.
Bandcamp Friday. Today's the day. Do it now. Check it out. Purchase. All right, gentlemen, we'll see you. And
thank you for having us.
Yeah,
plenty of other great content on the way on this channel. Yes. Always doing panels. If you want to be part of these panels, we have a Patreon, which you can join. We have polls. We have a lot of interaction. The Patreon's a lot of fun. And if you're interested in being on a panel, that's the way to do that. If you're not interested in being on a panel, we do have a Ko-fi. We'll take a pint or a cup of coffee. And we also like donos on this channel. We never turn down a dono. So, but what's coming up next? I can't tell you, but I can tell you this. Tune in next Wednesday. The Contrarians are now doing a live chat every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Right now, we're doing a lot of album cover topics, which are fun. We're just going to probably keep doing that for a while until we run out of it. But there's so many things we can talk about. So Martin's on these, and we have a panel. Please tune in. It's a lot of fun, and we want to hear from you on those.
Check out their Terrible Metal album covers episode. I was just watching that one yesterday and I was cracking up. So definitely check that one out.
It's good. That was good. We keep getting more and more people tuning in. I think, God, we had a lot of people for that one. But awesome. All right, it was fun. It's fun. Yeah. I love it. So, all right, keep tuning in. We've got more great content. And gentlemen, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And please support. We'll see everybody.
Have a good night.
Peace. Good night, everybody.